Okay, so Dr. Deshpande, it is always a privilege to welcome you, and that you are always ready whenever we request you. We have a dependable friend who can be, should I say, that on gunpoint we can demand that you please come over. So this is a orientation week actually in our university, and today is the last day. So the whole week, the program of different expert talks, and just now we had this skilling council person came and talked about skilling courses, importance, and so on and so forth. So, dear colleagues, friends, students, it is very difficult to really introduce your own friend. So, but since you are those who are not knowing him, I would briefly.
My introduction as your friend is sufficient.
Yeah, but the further friend may not. I mean, I don't want to go into much details, except that he's a Pune University person. He studied all through in Pune University. He did PhD, he did DSc, and DSc where I got involved. That was long back, I think 95, 94, right? And since then we are close. And he was in NCL Pune till very recently as a chief scientist, and he has really had a big group in the department. And now he's he's a big man. He's a director of a company, Green Pension Biotech. And that is really doing a lot of societal work in terms of producing biopesticides, biofertilizers, plant growth promoters, and so on and so forth. And quite a few in the market, isn't it?
Yeah. 10 products are there in the market.
And you know, and his interest also matches with our interest in fungal biology. He was more towards more biology in terms of dimorphism and differentiation and so on and so forth. But we have also published together, have some brief projects together. What is best in his that apart from scientific papers, which is so many, he writes popular articles. And invariably he'll send me these Marathi newspaper cuttings. And he is also a wildlife photographer, particularly flora fauna. One time, I think before just Corona, he was on our campus for a month, or maybe a little over a month. And that time we persuaded him to catalog the flora fauna of our campus. And he made a beautiful book. So students, whenever you have time, I will show you that book. It is in my table. He edited and made beautiful photographs. You will not believe that this is from our own campus. So with that background, he's a very dedicated scientist, very humble person. And you'll see what is going to speak now. It's always pleasure, Dr. Mukund, to welcome you here. And will be this week of Ganesh Chaturthi. It's a very auspicious week. So please go ahead.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your kind introduction. Actually, I'm really overwhelmed with your words because in 94 onwards, I mean, I have some inspiring scientists who have inspired me in the science, and you are one of them. So thank you so much. Okay, sir. I'll shall I share now my presentation?
Yes, please.
Good afternoon, everybody. And once again, thank you so much for uh, giving me this opportunity to talk with students. Actually, I would have loved to come there and give a talk. But anyway, I thought that still this is a good opportunity. Today, I am going to talk about entrepreneurship. And the title which I have specifically chosen is Discover Your True North. Whether it is entrepreneurship or you want to be researcher or what you want to do in your life. So that's why I thought that maybe this will give you some idea. And in between, I'm going to tell you my so-called success story about how I became this entrepreneur. Uh, I joined NCL, National Chemical Laboratory, Pune, in 1976. The purpose of that laboratory is to advance knowledge and to apply chemical science for the good of the people. Though it is written there in the lobby, I really don't know whether this thing certainly happens there regularly in NCL. Because number of times most of our scientists, they say that they are basic scientists, they are doing some uh, fundamental research, but if you ask me, there is no basic or applied science per se. Only time frame is different for application. Now when we talk about the basic science or the performance of any research institute, we find that the performance indicators are also, or rather research is adjudged by the specific um, criteria. For example, publications, patents, projects, popularization of science, etc. So that means there is no actually product or process or technology transfer. So that means the performance of researcher is always uh, t- tested by these parameters. But if you really find that how many people read your publication, maybe four, editor, two reviewers, and yourself, maximum. If the paper is very good, then maybe hundreds, few hundreds, if it is worth. How many people use your patent? None. I have 10 patents, but nobody has taken my patent. I'm using my own patents for my company. What is the outcome of the research project? Most of the time, we find that the project completion report is submitted. How much time your popular lecture or articles are figuring? Not more than 24 hours. How much paisa you wrote or how much funding you got? Most of these research institutes are dependent on the government funding, but industry funding is practically nil. But still, with this criteria, you are excellent researcher. But how many people can use your product or process? If you see that thousands of people are using our products, and this is the thing which is important as entrepreneur. Now, when we talk about the Indian biotechnology, I am going to concentrate more on the biotechnological aspect. So it holds almost 2% share, which is not big one, of the global biotech industry. In India, biotechnology industry is around US dollar 100 billion, and around 800 companies, I can say 801 now, my company, uh, are involved in biotech research as well as the production of biotech products. The government has to invest more than 5 billion US dollars to develop infrastructure and for getting the biotech industry up to 100 billion by 2025. And this is the target of Indian government. So that means 10 times more. So you have a lot of scope to add into that. Now, there is a general sequence. When we talk about the biotechnology, you should have some application objective. Okay, I mean, it is not necessary that the right from the beginning you go for the application. You have to do knowledge-based research. That is true, but you should have application objective at least. So basic research is important to understand the concept, and even still till today, we are also doing the basic research because we are also DSI recognized institute. Applied research, how one can use this knowledge for application. Then it will go to pilot scale or pilot phase or the scale up phase, and then application phase. And there are two important, I can say, for researcher hurdles is the introductory phase, that is the marketing, and third one is operational phase, the distribution. For these two, you have to really struggle hard. But one thing is there, that by sitting outside from research institute, you cannot really uh, understand the importance of market opportunities or the scientific knowledge, etc. You have to be there inside the industry, and therefore this is important thing that I thought that maybe I should be entrepreneur. Maybe after it was not too late. After my retirement or superannuation, I started this company. So usually, what motivates entrepreneur? Number one is problem solving. Number of times we see that the people are facing different problems. Say, for example, waste management. This is the simplest example. So this is the problem which is people are facing every year. So can we solve that? Creativity is one thing which I'm more keen into that. Third one is the aesthetics. Aesthetic solutions or elegant solutions are important for the complex problems. And um, I worked on the development of biosensors for, say, dopamine sensor, etc. So like that, we can have biosensors for early disease detection or multiple analytes. So this is the some elegant solution for this complex problem, especially pesticide residues. We are having biosensors have with for multiple pesticides. Ego is one thing that number of times industry people, I organize fortunately couple of public-private partnership meetings, and I found that the industry people that time they used to say, "Oh, you people don't know what we want." So, and it was really hurting my ego. So that's why I thought that maybe I should start the industry and come out for uh, with some solutions or some products for the society. Challenges, money is also there to prove yourself. As I said, that the CSR slogan is that we should work for the people, and we used to end up only with publications, etc., etc. So now we want to prove that our products are used by people, common people, and they are certainly happy with your product. And this is really a great satisfaction that my products are using farming community. I'll just give some brief idea about mm, during case study, and to give a reply to people who think that research institutes are white elephants. And unfortunately, there are certain groups, NGOs, they can always say that research institutes are white elephants. So what motivated me actually? Actually, in my case, mentorship motivated me. One of my students who was postdoc with me, uh, he wanted to start something, and I thought that maybe I should also work with him as a mentor and not advisor. Advisor is just sitting outside, can give advice, but mentor is involved in the system. So maybe to give the initial funding, etc., provide platform for translational research in agricultural biotechnology, to prove myself. And to prove myself, I thought that maybe this will be a good opportunity. There are different roles of startups or startup mentor, motivation, etc. But two important points are the flag risks, mm, that you should tell the your young entrepreneur that what are the risks involved in this, and you have to give candid feedback to that. So mentor and advisor, these are the two different things, and I am mentor because I also involved in the company growth and development. And this is win-win situation, because as a mentor, if we are successful, this is my credit, if and also his credit. So just if you want to start any company or entrepreneurship, you have to seek the funds. For example, government nowadays is supporting a lot of uh, biotech industries or the entrepreneurs or startups. There are different agencies, we can say, from the government, at Ministry of Micro, Small, Medium Enterprises, Biotechnology Industry Research, that is a BIRAC, from DBT, Biotechnology Ignition Grant, that is big. So all this information is available on the net, especially BIRAC. I had 3 BIRAC projects and one more is running now. And then there is PACE program, that is promoting academic research. If you have any proof of concept, you can tie up with any industry and go for with AIR or CRS scheme, that is contract research scheme. and you can certainly go for further development of your proof of concept to scale up and eventually go to the market. There are non-government agencies also where exchange they take share of in the company, as well as sometimes they have this license agreement also. But with this approach, we find that the investors have more benefit. That's why they are investing in your company. Now, there are three different levels, I can say, of any startup. For example, there are the ventures. One is the venture capital. This is then the venture center, and third one is venture studio. So, which one should prefer? What is venture funding? Venture funding is nothing but they are giving money to you, and their finance and business skills, etc. Also, they can give support to you, and but you will find that finally in the marketing they will exploit you little bit. But there are certain advantages and disadvantages also. But as far as venture funding is concerned, advantages are the opportunity for expansion of the company, because money is available for the company, and no obligation of obligation for repayment. That is one thing. That is venture capital, but you have to give the share, etc., royalty, all these things. And disadvantage is the dilution of ownership, because one thing which I realize, that when I say that this is a technology which I have developed, ownership is with different people. I mean, that sometimes may not be appreciable. And sometimes we find that this venture capitalists, they try to uh, give the under evaluation of your project, and you certainly lose a lot of things or money in that. I am totally against this, sorry to say like that, the venture center, because I find that the venture center is expected to do this to startup, that they can give the support. When you are learning cycle, you need some support initially. But usually venture center people do like this. They are just running with you. You are doing everything and they are just running with you. Sometimes I find that this situation is even worse, that you are just working hard, and the venture center and your business development people, they are taking a lot of advantage. So at least I will not go with venture center. I tried also with venture center, but okay, I mean, let's say it is better about this. Either you should go for the venture capital, or the third one is the venture studio. Venture studio is a excellent scheme, what we can say, that where you find that the people are coming with you. They are coming with you, they are involved in your company, and they are giving all the support. And eventually, if you don't want them, or if they don't want to be in company, they will go out. This is a venture studio, but all intellectual contribution can be given by this venture studio people, and this is, according to me, is important. So there are I think there is in Gujarat, there is one venture studio, and maybe we are also trying in Pune Agarkar Research Institute this development of venture studio, because this is necessary. Venture center is just incubation center where you can use some facilities, but this is, according to me, is the excellent idea to go with venture center if you are going to have startup. One of the important thing which always most of the people miss is that the internal company analysis and the importance of market potential. So these two things are important, and with that one you can have your projection. Maybe what will be the status of your company after 5 years? What are you going to do after 5 years? What will be your product range after 5 years? Like that. So these two things are certainly important when you start the company. Okay, if you're starting with company, but if you don't want to start company, there are some other arrangements also. You can have incubation center. I mean, though I said that the venture center is not a good option for new entrepreneurs, but one can start incubation center where we can create a facility and give the facility for other people. One-stop shop arrangement. This is platform for translational research. I tried this way initially, that I wanted to do that one, and there was a lot of support also I got, but from DBT, but eventually it did not materialize. But this is the thing, that anytime anybody can come with you, we can take him to further step, and then that person can live. It is like some sort of venture studio style. And third one is do it yourself. This is most challenging because you have proof of concept, demonstration, participatory program, and eventually do it yourself technology development. So now we are going to come with uh, uh, mm, uh, uh, main title, which is your true north. Just a second. 1 second. Excuse me. तुम्ही आवाज नका करू आता. मी बोलतोय. आता काही नका. हा. Okay. So sorry for this interruption because I am talking from my home, and number of people are coming. Okay. So which is your true north? Now, as a biotech person, there are options, main options. One is the healthcare or pharmaceutical industry, and second one is agriculture or waste management, etc. industry. So, what is the difference in these two? Pharmaceutical or healthcare is high value, low volume industry, while agriculture and waste management is high volume and low cost industry. Healthcare is individualistic and other agriculture or waste management, etc. It is a community based. And the success is defined in healthcare, while there are multiple factors are involved in agriculture. And so this is the thing which is more challenging, if you ask me, that in spite of having multiple factors affecting the success of your story, is more challenging than going for the uh, healthcare. Recently, government has the PM and our finance minister have decided, and they have said that India should have a 5 trillion economy by 2024. It may not happen, but it can happen maybe by 2028. And for that one, what will be the contribution of agriculture? How agriculture people can contribute in this one? Recently, I have written this article in one of the books, Abhivruddhi from IMTR. Uh, about 58% of Indian communities depend on the agriculture. Indian population is dependent on agriculture. And GDP is reached almost 20% in last year. And that time, all other industries were little uh, mm, low playing, while GVA, that is the gross value added, is around 17 to 18%, which is also quite appreciable. And most important thing is that the farmers are facing problems of uncertainty of climatic change. Now you are seeing that how rains are coming and rains are shifting from 1 month to another month. So the climatic conditions and other natural calamities are affecting the agriculture. Still, farmers are quite enthusiastic and they are certainly working hard to produce something for the people. But the main problem with such type of industry is that the usually farming is only for the rural livelihood sector. Like so, that means it is just for a small group. There are certain farmers, they are having only 1 acre land or 2 acre land, and they produce uh, food for themselves. But it will not change the total scenario. Like we cannot make a with 5 trillion economy using such type of agriculture. We should have modern business model. So what are the things which can be useful in this one? That technologies like nanotechnology, hydroponics, that means growing plants without soil, vertical farming. This is one of the upcoming areas, use of artificial intelligence. So these areas, if you are interested in these areas certainly can contribute very highly in agriculture sector. And right now, agriculture is also growing, and people are interested to reach to the 5 trillion economy using the agriculture as a main sector. Uh, Moreover, we find that the India's diversity of climate, we have 35 climatic zones in India. And we find that the soil microorganisms, etc., they are also contributing a lot. And you can practically grow any grain, fruit, or vegetable in India. So you should have knowledge about the crops. You should have knowledge about the soil. That means soil chemistry is important. And if you know this, and if the farmers are happy with your approach or with your knowledge, certainly you can go ahead with agriculture as one of the startups. One of the components for your startup. because this is another thing that which, as far as the social aspect is concerned, that in 2019 we found that the around 10,000 farmers have committed suicide, and bankruptcy or is there, family problems are there, farming related issues are like poor quality of farm inputs, lack of education and all other things. But still, if you can start, you can have startup in agriculture, it will certainly change the scenario, and it can give a satisfaction to you that yes, your efforts are having societal benefit. But one note of caution, which at present we are also facing, there are man-made chains for marketing the agriculture produce. And this chain is creating problem for the manufacturer like us and the farmers, because the total benefit goes in this chain, because from the chain, first chain starts with manufacturer, consultant, distributor, shopkeeper, and farmer. So the product of 100 rupees go up to 600 rupees when it reaches to farmer. The second chain is the farmer. When farmer has some produce, the broker and market or shops, malls, and finally it goes to customer. So farmer get 10 rupees and the customer has to pay 100 rupees. So this in between chain, and somehow one has to think about this socio-economic issue, and this is the challenge, how to break this chain. There are certain societies where the farming community is coming together for the marketing, etc., but that is not sufficient. But apply science for the good of the people, and organic farming or the eco-friendly agriculture is one of the best options, I can say, for any scientist. Now, as a chief scientist, when I was in NCL, I made a roadmap. And most of the time, I find that the roadmap is generic for the research institutes. And as Professor Rajendra Prasad has said, that I'm more keen in working with fungi. And so I made roadmap for two different areas, agriculture also and human healthcare also. But I found that the agriculture roadmap is more convenient to develop the products for the community or for the society, because there are certain rules and regulations or the regulatory bodies which sometimes have effect on your roadmap. So now my first attempt, when I was in NCL, I thought that maybe I should have something in agriculture. I got the support from the industries program, and my first attempt was that to develop some microinsecticides. And I found that when I'm just telling you that how I came to this position, that when we were working on this microinsecticide as a fungal organism, during repeated subculturing, I found that the organism loses its virulence and capacity to kill the insect pest. And then to increase that virulence again, or to get the virulence back, we find that you have to have the transfer of insect, that organism on the insect. So insect passage, 5 insect passages are necessary to get the again virulent organism. So I thought that maybe I should have, instead of this thing, can we have pest, pathogen, and your organisms and other organisms stay living together in one environment where all these problems can be sorted out. So pest is there, pest pathogen is also there, and other organisms are there for competition. And with this idea, I generated uh, mm, idea of developing biodiversity park. DPT really was very happy and supported that one, but somehow the funding stream was not appreciable, and somehow I could not do that one further. But at present, I'm trying to do that one in our Green Innovation Biotech. It is lot of potential for say mycopesticides. I realize that total chemical market is around 66 billion US dollar, and at present mycoinsecticide market is around 0.66 billion. So what is the scope? How much you can increase? So from 0.66 you can go up to 66 US billion. So this is the market potential, especially if you concentrate on organic farming, or if you concentrate on the use of the natural products. Total biopesticide market is 10% of the chemical market. And at present, chemical industry is driving research also on biopesticides. But they are in driver's seat. But I'm sure that if organic farming increases, we can have, we eventually you will be in a driver's seat. So how it started when I thought about the this biodiversity park, etc. Then I thought that maybe I should go with some industry, or I should start my own industry, because I had four products with me. One is metarhizium, that is myco-insecticide. Another one is some specially designed where the DBT is giving a lot of support. Still, it is giving some lot of support about the enzyme complex, which can be used to control both pest and pathogens in a single crop system. Uh, so that is one thing. And fungal chitosan, this is another important thing, that can we replace marine chitosan with fungal chitosan, and then fungicides, essential oil based and chitosan based. So we submitted this application to BIRAC, and somehow initially big proposal we could not get, and on then we thought that maybe we should have our own company. And eventually we started this company in 2019. Actually, in 2016 we started, but in 2019 it is started, and uh, mm, we are working on this. Of course, in between that, COVID was also there. So my main interest was on the microbial pesticides, where we can develop process and product, different process and different products also. So selection of the source is important. Novelty as a wide spectrum, as I mentioned, that the enzyme complex. Then to increase efficiency, how we can have combinations of enzyme inhibitors, which are enzymes which are important in growth or virulence or the differentiation of the pathogen, etc. So you can have the integration of the enzymes, that is the cuticle degrading enzymes or the fungal cell wall lytic enzymes like chitinase, protease, lipase. So if you have cocktail of these, along these enzymes, you can use enzyme inhibitors like the chitin synthase inhibitor or glucan synthase inhibitor, etc. And this combination can be useful. Or maybe you can have organisms like metarhizium, Beauveria, Nomoria. All these organisms can be used for the control of different fungal insect and the fungal pest and pathogens. So my initial work was divided into three phases. First is always, this is the way it happens, proof of concept. If you have any idea, you try to give the proof of concept, publish couple of papers on that one. Then the second phase is the demonstration. Demonstration of proof of concept is important when you go for the industry. And then simultaneously you should have farmers participatory program, because I'm talking about agriculture. Same thing is true in case of healthcare also, where you have preclinical trials, clinical trials, etc. And here we find that the farmers are the right judge for your product. If it is working in the field, they will say that yes, it works. Your proof of concept is good. If it doesn't work, they will say, no, we don't want to go ahead. And third phase is transferring microinsecticide technology to the private industry. So this is the way one goes ahead. And as you know, there are some regulatory considerations. For example, Central Insecticide Board, you have to go to that board for the uh, licensing, etc. Farmers education is naturally important. End users education is also important in this respect. So I identified one organism. So out of 68 metarhizium strains which I have, I identified one as a commercial strain and two strains as backup strains. And I found that these strains is important and controlling different pests like gram pot borer, greasy cutworm, mealybugs, woolly aphid, chastids, etc. So I mean this is my main product as far as our company is concerned. So what are the innovations in this one? One innovation is that the how to produce these spores, because in the field we are spreading this spores, spraying the spores with the knapsack sprayer. So we produce these spores in specific bags. They have these unicorn bags where there is membrane which exchange of heat as well as gases. This membrane is there, and you can produce spores. We can have also the micro harvester. This is the specific which will remove the spores from the mycelium. Then we have novelty about the ULV sprayers, which is along with diesel sunflower mixture, where you need 500 liters per acre for aqueous spray. Here you need only 5 liters of diesel sunflower spray. So this is the way some innovations are used to reduce down the cost, or sometimes you can have the value addition. So whenever we start talk about any industry, there is a necessity of SWOT analysis. What is SWOT analysis? What are the strengths? What is the weaknesses, opportunities, and threats? Strengths are scientifically developed process, because I worked from right from 2000 onwards, and in 2019 we commercialized that one. So 19 years of experience, high efficiency and low treatment cost. Weaknesses are the end use market has less product perception, because they need fast results. Like chemicals, they can kill insect within minutes, and they can kill plants also. They can kill everything. But people do not understand. They just see that they want fast results. Opportunities, it is a growing market. As I mentioned, point 66, it can go up to 66. And threats, know-how cannot be kept confidential, because here we are using live organisms like fungus. So any microbiologist can isolate that fungus from the field, and can start his or own companies. Like there is a presence of large, more than 75% unorganized segment because of such type of practices. But there is a way to protect your IP. That one also we'll see. So now you cannot say that, okay, I mean, somebody is producing a micro insecticide, so should I again produce the same thing? One can certainly go with this, because the fungus which I am using, metarhizium, is known first time in 1890. After 1890, in 2022, I am producing this organism, and still I am using as a product in the market. So now how you can tackle your you can start your industry with say metarhizium. So you have to uh, have the challenges or issues like this. You can have the more virulent strain, take more virulent strain, or having the speedy action. If my organism killing in 2 days, your organism should kill in 1 day. Large scale production, again, that is also one thing which is important. Shelf life and stability. Shelf life is 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, like that. So if you have more shelf life, your product will sustain in the market. And from industry point of view, cost should be low. Then IPR, intellectual property, how to protect that one, and strong incentives like value addition or bioprospecting, you have to think about. So now when we talk about the science, that okay, I mean, one should not say that okay, industry they don't understand basic science or research, because all these products are knowledge based, and one of the important contributions which we have made in this field, that I just want to highlight that as I mentioned earlier, that when the organism loses virulence during subculturing, repeated subculturing, we find that you have to give the insect passage. But the insect is not available, how to increase the virulence? We had one observation that we collected 68 strains from different fields, and couple of strains, 6 strains, were from custard apple field, and we found that the custard apple field metarhizium, isolated metarhizium from custard apple field, are more virulent. Then we started thinking that what is the reason, and we found that there is a horizontal gene transfer, and this is the puzzle which we have solved recently in 2019. That there is a horizontal gene transfer from custard apple insecticide traits from custard apple to metarhizium, and this is because of that one metarhizium is more virulent. All the strains of custard apple, they show more virulence towards towards Helicoverpa parmigera, because of the transfer of insecticidal traits. Then just to check the proof of concept, whether it is only custard apple or any other plant, then we found that we isolated organism from chili, then neem, papaya, And these are original endophytes, and they are coming to soil through debris. And we found that they are also very effective in the field, and they are more virulent. So that means if you have your strains isolated from such type of insecticidal plants sources, or if you have endophytes, you can certainly have the better proposition for the commercial venture. Now, as I mentioned that the how to protect your IPR, we have microsatellite markers which are from the non-coding region. These microsatellite markers for each and every strain. So, if somebody takes away the metarhizium strain from the field, I can certainly check if it is my metarhizium strain. I can check the microsatellite markers and protect my IPR. So this is the way one has to think about. And the next thing is that to reduce down the cost or do the value addition, you can see that the metarism is having lot many applications. It produces different enzymes like lipases, proteases, etc. Proteases, for example, recently we had discussion, myself and Professor Rajendra Prasad, that how to use proteases in detergent industry. So this metarhizium, which is producing proteases, this is additional feature. Lipases, which can also be used in dairy and food industry, or leather and detergent industry, or organic synthesis. Most of the lipase, microbial lipase, especially Candida lipolytica, that lipase is being used industrially in a number of biotransformations. Then you can have bioremediation. This metarhizium can reduce down the toxic residues from the soil, etc. So these are the things. And even you can isolate chitin chitosan from the cell wall of metarhizium, because after removal of the spores, you can have mycelium. That mycelium can be used for the isolation of chitin chitosan or glucan mannan, etc. So all these things are important as far as the bioprospecting is concerned for the reducing down the cost. So this is the way I look at. At present, we are doing all these things with our metarhizium strains. Uh, I had produced one film also, technology for production of microinsecticide. If you are interested, these details are given on this one. You can certainly see the film. But most importantly is that you should have always connect with farmers or connect with end users. And that is the key of any success of the any industry, that you should be always connected with the end user. Otherwise, you will lose your market. You cannot just keep quiet and sit in the ivory tower and see that, okay, my product is going by marketing people. It is not true. I have one product that, as I mentioned, that the enzymes, because actually DBT is very keen in this, and DBT has given a lot of support right from 1997. They are still giving support that they want this enzyme preparation in the market. This is enzyme complex produced by one organism, and the enzyme complex like chitinase, protease, lipase, chitin deacetylase, chitosanase, all these enzymes are together produced by this organism, and this enzyme complex can be used to control different insect pests as well as fungal pathogens. We have done 4 years trials in grapes to control mealybug and downy mildew, powdery mildew. These are the fungal pathogens, and also thrips and jacids in grapes. So then in woolly aphids in sugarcane. So we have done all this, and I'm sure that this product is at the verge of commercialization within next 2-3 years. And at present, we are working with Agagar Research Institute with making nano formulation, this enzyme-based nano formulation, which will be used in the field. So these are the different pests which are being controlled by our enzyme preparation, pests and pathogens. And also the nematode control has also been seen with this enzyme preparation. So this is my novel product from basic product, that is conventional product. Now, this is the thing which I would like to bring into the market within 2-3 years. But my total efforts to get this product in the market is almost 15 to 20 years. This is the nano formulation work with one of my students. Now she is senior scientist, Dr. Vandana. She is working on the making nano formulation, which is by differential immobilization of say enzymes on these chitosan nanoparticles as well as the chitosan alginate nanoparticles. Is at present we are testing to control the downy mildew and powdery mildew in grapes as well as in tomato powdery mildew. Products at the scale up phase. I mentioned to you initially that when you think about your company, you should think about the future also. So there are two different products. There's the mushrooms, different mushrooms and the chitosan. These two products are there, which are at the scale up phase. And I'm sure that after 3 or 4 years, we will be there. These products will be there in the market. So these are the different mushrooms which at present we are cultivating the lab in the our laboratory, and I'm sure that it soon will going to scale up these different mushrooms. And chitosan, this is the fungal chitosan, is one of my dreams, I can say, that which can be used as a veg chitosan, because most of the especially the Jain community, they don't like chitosan tablets which are being used for the obesity, reduction of obesity, which are prepared using the marine chitosan. So instead of that thing, if we make fungal chitosan, and at present we are at pretty at high level, more than scale up, we are one step ahead with fungal chitosan, with one dimorphic fungus, that is Benjamin Poitra. Recently, Dr. Professor Rajendra Prasad has said about that dimorphism. This is my actually passion about the fungal organism. Uh, Important thing is that the number of organisms they are being used in the industry, say wine industry for different yeasts are being used, and mushroom industry. So we find that the approximately 50,000 tons, metric tons of waste material from mushroom is produced. Same thing is true with winery where the yeast lees is produced. At present, yeast lees is being used for glucan and mannan production. This yeast lees can also be used for the chitin production. We have also done some preliminary experiments, and I'm sure that we will have wide range of chitosans from different fungal organisms, and chitosan from fungal organisms will have more healthcare application because of its characteristics, low molecular weight, high deacidulation, etc. I don't want to go into details of this, but I'm sure that these products certainly will change the scenario or the recognition to our company. Products at proof of concept level is the biocomposites. Now, number of everybody knows about the biopolymers. At present, cellulose is being used instead. Other than cellulose, this chitin and chitosan, these fungal cell wall polymers, can be used as to make the different packing material. So, biocomposites, this is one of the important areas, and we have already started working on this. And probiotics for poultry, this is another our product side product which we are going to work. So this is our facility, R&D facility, etc. We have basic minimum and necessary and sufficient facility to carry out all the work which we are mentioning. So we started with proof of concept for 2 products. Presently, we have 10 plus products. And at present, we are doing large scale trials in different parts of Maharashtra, 125 acres trials with our 36 products, different products which we are using. So number of products are CIB registered, and licensing of Maharashtra government has also been done. So this is about the production, but I am more keen in R&D projects also. There are 4 different projects, R&D projects, and at present we have 2 projects with Assam Agriculture University and 1 project with Agarkar Research Institute. So we are not stop R&D because that is my passion. So these 3 products, especially organic tea production, is one of the important projects in Northeast. So these 3 projects are also going on well. So now I have given this some sort of semi-success story, I can say. So what are the opportunities in biotechnology, research and development to entrepreneurship? So this is one thing which one should understand. When you want to select, say, any microorganism or any organism per se, you have to see the characteristics like the speed of the growth of that organism, costing. If you want to grow something, the cost, how much cost, that is a fermentation cost, etc. Post-translational modification, this is the important aspect. It and scale up and regulatory aspect. There's a regulation in the uh, uh, production of extracellular material or secretion of that material. So there are different products like you have bacteria, yeast, filamentous fungi, mammals, plant cells, animal cells. And just to cut the story short, fungi and bacteria, they are always better and in best position. as far as the industrial production concerned. So why do we prefer microorganisms? Because uh, this Perlman, his industrial microorganisms, what he has said, microorganisms are not stupid. They are your friends. They are smarter, wiser, more energetic than chemists. And if you take care of your micro friend, they will take care of your future. James Watson, of course, everybody knows, molecular biologist, Nobel laureate. What he has said that if we can solve the same problem equally well with yeast or with human cells, common sense tells us to stick with the simpler system, less simpler and less expensive system. In 2009, I organized AMI conference, 2009-10, and that time there was some discussion about the physical chemistry and microbiology. So I mentioned to somebody that the perfection of microbes far exceeds the accuracy of physical chemistry that is beyond our comprehension. So please remember, all other chemistry or physical chemistry, all this chemistry, though we think that is 1 plus 1 is equal to 2, microorganisms have such a capacity that they can do any wonders. Uh, these are the different areas where one can really think about the commercial ventures if you are interested in agri-clinics. That is, endophytes can be used as bodyguards or disease suppressive soils. Nano fertilizers, biopesticides. Recently, one company has got the permission to produce nano urea. So, like that, you can have the nano biopesticide fertilizer, etc. Hydroponics, I mentioned that where without soil you can grow your plants. So this is one area where you can do wonders. Vertical farming, because of the less land, because of urbanization, agriculture land is going down. So that is biodiesel. Everybody knows what is the price of petrol, diesel. Biofertilizer, biopesticides, compost fertilizer, composting and fertilizer activity, food processing, etc. Hybrid seeds. This is another, if you are interested in botany. Specialty fungicides and vaccine. Can we develop really vaccines in agriculture? Yesterday on the news, there was news about the vaccine development against cancer. I mean, I have my own reservations, but like that, can we develop vaccines against the plant pathogens? This is one thing which is mm, अरे हे काय झालं? So one thing is that I always say that be prepared for the unforeseen problems. That is one thing which is necessary for any industrialist. Uh, so when we started on November 3rd. Actually, our inauguration was done by Professor Rajendra Prasad on November 2nd, 2019. And on 3rd, it was official inauguration. So then immediately that COVID started and we could not do anything in the company. But still, I tried to spend my time fruitfully. That about wrote one book about the corona, then wrote something about the mucormycosis, and most importantly mycology and mycotology and postal stamps. This is the first such type of article which is published in Nature. Even on orchids also I wrote something. So this is the way I spent my time. But and also in 2 years I could publish a couple of books, as I edited a couple of books. uh, oh sorry. So with this, I would like to thank, of course, all the funding agencies. I would especially thank Professor Rajendra Prasad because he is my more than mentor and my idol also. And Dr. Seema, Katrina, all these are the people who have given me a lot of support during my research career, and still they are giving. And then Dr. Santosh Tupe is my partner, Vandana Gurmade. Though my student now, she is independent researcher in Agarkar Research Institute. Professor Vidyut Sharma from Assam Agriculture University, with whom I had 2 projects. And of course, consultants. And I had to thank marketing partners or marketing people. Without that one, you cannot really run industry. Thank you so much for your kind attention. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mukund, for such a wonderful and inspiring talk. And it's your true endeavor to take first you research and find out a product, and then how you develop it and take it to the market, and what obstacles you have faced, how you have grown in strength, what funding agencies you have used. It is such a learning exercise for everyone. Anyone who has follows this lecture today would understand how difficult it is to really to take something from the bench to the field, as you have done, and really hats off to you for that. And there are some questions, of course, from the students and the faculty. RP sir, if you want to ask something, as his mentor, you get the first chance, and we can move on.
No question. Only thing is good to know that somebody is going to be rich. So I have a friend. So
Of course,
I'm,
of course.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
But after so much hard work, I think that is the least he deserves, and that is it's also a matter of tremendous pride, not only money, to
True,
get a product
true,
to
true.
become successful like this.
No, I've seen his setup and company, very dedicated team, and
Right.
they have great future, I'm sure.
Especially in India, not too many people, I think, not too many scientists try to develop products like this with so much passion and zeal, and then actually seeing to it that it reaches the market and is used by people.
But
That is
after all the big talk of the government, he did not get much of the support in terms of startup or whatever. So he's doing on his own, putting his personal money to start with, really speaking.
right, right. But as he said, to make use of some of the schemes of the government, like the
Yeah.
BIRAC phase, etc. I mean, wherever it is possible, at least try to get in and get something if possible. And if not, of
Yeah.
course, one has to develop on their own.
Yes.
मुकुल
So-
साहब आप शेयर फ्लोट कीजिए
Huh?
शेयर
And we will all buy
we'll
the
buy.
shares. Right. उससे अच्छा हम samples भी आपके bio fertilizers के we should try and popularize.
Actually, one thing which I would like to add, I have started this company not as a company, but it is some platform for translational research in agriculture biotechnology. That means if you have any proof of concept, please come to us. There will be proper legal MOU, etc. And from your proof of concept, we can do trials, etc. and can take you to the market. And then if you want, this is some sort of venture studio, I can say that if you want to continue with us, you can continue. If you want to go out, you can go out. So that is my really idea of starting this company. It is not the development of one person. It is the development of the people together.
Right. That's again a huge endeavor, and like the virtual studio concept which you proposed, at least I was hearing that for the first time. I mean, we all hear about venture capitals, but venture studios which can come and do hand holding,
Yeah.
and then lead you on and participate. That is something really very, very new and very much required, I would say.
Yeah.
So should we take the questions now that
Yes.
all the teachers and students have asked? So Dr. Manju Sharma, she's our faculty here, and she's asking, may I know if there is any platform through which a startup in biotechnology area can connect with those who are interested in venture funding?
Yes, there is some platform where you can have such type of thing, venture funding. If you have your own idea, I can certainly suggest that to whom you should approach. Or maybe if she can share her email, the person can share her email with me. I can give the information where they can get the venture capital.
Okay, excellent. Dr. Manju, I hope you are listening. So if you write to Mukund sir, then he will let you know how to proceed about it. Then Dr. Sarika, she has a question too, and she is asking, have you checked the effect of the biopesticide on bacteria? What will be the effect on beneficial bacteria like rhizobium?
See, there in case of biopesticide, the one thing which is important is the host specificity. And nature has its own rule that plant pathogen cannot become insect pathogen, insect cannot become plant bacterial pathogen, or bacterial pathogen cannot become so, human pathogen, I can say. Uh, of course, a number of fungi now becoming uh, mm, human pathogens. This is because of immunocompromisation. Because of immunocompromisation, fungi are. Otherwise, only there was one example where the fungus was the plant as well as human pest, that is Cercospora api. That organism was only showing some infection in human beings as well as to plants. Otherwise, usually nature protects itself, and there is host defense mechanism also. In case of bacteria, it is not possible to have fungus to attack bacterial organism because the bacterial cell was different, and again the size and other things are totally different. So there is no such type of interaction seen.
Okay. So one of the students has asked, sir, what do you think about nano formulations? Nano formulation safety issues, because when they become commercially available, doesn't uh, the safety assessment become
Yes.
important?
Yeah, this is a really important question, and I'm happy that the student has pointed out that one. And I was keeping quiet because about the nanobiotechnology, because this is the major concern. So far, only one product has been approved, nano formulation, in detergent industry in 2011 from USA. There are no guidelines still today about the registration of the nano formulation. The major concern is that nano formulation, yes, certainly it will work on the targeted pest or pathogen, but as the size of the size of the particle is very small, there is a passive there could be passive transfer in the useful organisms too, and that is the major concern, that can nanoformulation eventually or slowly attack useful organisms. And now the people are trying to have the new guidelines for the nanoformulation per se, especially for agriculture. And even that can affect human beings also. I mean, we do not really know about the how its effect will go. And that's why if initially, if this person remembers that I said that the healthcare, certainly approval of such type of new ventures is possible because it is individualistic. While in case of agriculture, one should be little more careful because it is the community based. And
Yeah.
therefore, nano formulation so far, nobody has used. Nano urea is having the restricted use permission for use there in the field. But certainly one should be very careful that its small size can affect other organisms too.
Right. Thank you very much, sir. And one last question from Dr. Costa, and he is asking, can your product be used simultaneously with with other biofertilizers like Sebasima vermifera fungus?
Uh, See, the always compatibility is one issue one has to think about. First, you have to check that compatibility. For example, there is a now new trend that we should have consortium of the organism. And when we talk about consortium, say for the biocontrol also, if we talk about consortium, say Trichoderma, Metarhizium, Beweria, suppose we take these three organisms, we first check the compatibility in the laboratory, in vitro, do in vitro assay, and then we go to the field. So same thing is necessary if one has to use if one wants to use new organism, can should check the compatibility with other biopesticides.
Right. Thank you very much, sir. And I think that was an excellent session and so knowledgeable. And we all have learned how really we should, first of all, think about developing something and then how to proceed with it once that has been done. And thank you for giving us such insights about your product. And we are indeed grateful to you for that. Our students and faculty, we have indeed learned a lot from this, especially on the orientation day 5. That was the last day of orientation. I'm sure our students have really been inspired by all the hard work and dedication that you have put into all this.
Email address is there on the presentation. So if
Right.
anybody is interested or any queries are there, certainly I will be happy to interact, because I am still my soul is R&D person.
Right, right. Totally.
So I will be happy to interact with anybody.
Certainly.
No problem.
And
Yes.
even if they miss this, we will pass it on to them if anyone
Yeah.
has any questions
Yeah, please.
or
Thank
if
you
they
so
want to get connected.
much. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Dr. Mukund.
Yeah.
See you
Ma'am,
soon.
you can close the screen and take a group picture.
Okay,
Okay.
Three of you.
Mukund sir, if you can stop sharing the
Oh.
PPT. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Arvindji. I have done that. Okay.
Open your camera, please, everybody. संगीता कहीं भाग रही है? संगीता is running away. Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, sir.
Okay, thanks. Sir.